What is up, YouTube? What is going on, fellow fantasy people? And as always, what is up, the Catch fam? What a game we saw last night. Oh my goodness, man. What a way to kick off the season. Fantastic game by both teams. And man, do we have some huge fantasy implications from both of these offenses, man, who Steven and I really talked about both Dallas and Tampa Bay moving into the regular season and how we both wanted pieces of each offense on our fantasy squads. And man, we couldn't have been, further from correct on that. Both of these offenses look fantastic. And how much fun was it to watch Tom Brady, the old true and tried greatest of all time, move the ball up and down the field effortlessly. But with that being said, how about Dak Prescott coming off of that injury? How fantastic did Dak look last night? Keeping, stride and stride with Tom Brady last night. A fantastic game overall. The Bucs come out with the win, 31-29. We see Brady obviously playing against me last night. Did end up helping us in throwing 2 interceptions, keeping him around just 27 points, right? If he hadn't thrown those picks, probably be over 30 points, right? But I do want to talk about Dak Prescott as well. He had a fantastic performance last night. Overall, over 400 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns, right around 27 points, right where Brady was as well. So, fantastic finish by both of these quarterbacks against, pretty good defenses overall, right? A lot of people were expecting Tampa Bay's defense to look very, very good last night. And they didn't look bad, but their secondary just wasn't able to keep up with that passing attack from the Cowboys. Really, none of these running backs played that well last night. And they just didn't really need to play well. They didn't really need to be implemented the way that this game was going. So it was quite interesting. And we saw Ronald Jones go out there, man, and fumble. And Leonard Fournette was essentially in the game for uh, the rest of the game after that, right? And from a full PPR standpoint, Fournette had a good game last night. The positive thing is we're seeing Brady like to dump the ball off to Leonard Fournette. So, in PPR scoring formats, he looks pretty valuable at the moment. While my guy Ronald Jones, who I was banking on all offseason and preseason, didn't look like the true back in that backfield whatsoever. Now, with that being said, I could see that of Ronald Jones being implemented later in the season as, last season we saw him having some fumbling issues, and then he was just kind of randomly put back in as the RB1. So it's going to be a tough backfield to kind of monitor, and we didn't really see Giovanni Bernard do a whole lot, but we did see him out there on some third downs as well. But that brings me to Ezekiel Elliott, who the Cowboys just didn't need to use last night. The way that this game script was going, they were throwing the football all over the place, man. And with that being said, you see 33 rushing yards by Zeke and 6 receiving yards overall. From a half PPR standpoint, under 5 points, so just over 5 points in a full PPR league, right? So, or maybe a little bit higher than that. So, but nonetheless, not where we want to see Ezekiel Elliott, right? And I think he will still have a great season overall. I just think that last night's game script was not in his favor, and I think that a lot of people were hesitant to start Zeke against that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. But nonetheless, if you went out and drafted Zeke, you are probably starting him every week. But nonetheless, man, let's talk about some of the more exciting elements of this game. Not to say that the quarterbacks and running backs weren't interesting, right? But let's look at these receivers. Oh my goodness, did we find a diamond in the rough for our RB heavy team? Oh my gosh, man, Antonio Brown went off last night and he looked phenomenal. Brady looked like he loved this guy overall. I could not be happier that we went out and we treated Antonio Brown like a wide receiver one. With that being said, with this injury to Gus Edwards, I cannot stop thinking about how Amari Cooper was available when I drafted Gus Edwards, who is now out on the year, and thinking about how I could have Amari Cooper on this squad who put up over 30 points last night, man. He looked phenomenal. And CeeDee Lamb looked great out there great out there as well, excuse me. And he put up over 20 points from a PPR standpoint. I mean, these offenses just look absolutely crazy, man. And with that being said, I mean, Chris Godwin looked phenomenal as well, over 100 receiving yards and a touchdown. He had that fumble towards the end of the game, but nonetheless, man, Brady looks like he is really enjoying Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown's company. Last night, Mike Evans looked like more of a decoy than anything, man. It was relatively scary to see the way that Mike Evans was implemented, but nonetheless, I mean, I do believe that he'll finish the year with a very good overall, stat line. But I think he will have those games where he just doesn't put up a lot of points, and then he's going to have those games where he absolutely breaks out, right? So if you own Mike Evans, I wouldn't hit the panic button quite yet. This was just one football game, right? Uh, but with that being said, man, there is one guy that we truly have to discuss from last night. No one other than that of Robert Gronkowski on the same team in this fantasy league that we see Mike Evans rostered, right? Yeah, only 24 receiving yards, but Gronk, man, looking like true form. I talked about this a lot towards the end of August, right? Don't sleep on Gronk. You're tight end 6 on average last year. And guess who slept on Gronk? I did, right? And I also brought up don't sleep on Amari Cooper. Guess who slept big time on Amari Cooper and is paying for it? Me. But nonetheless, man, Gronk, phenomenal game last night. 90 receiving yards, 2 scores, and man, these weren't some easy receptions. These weren't easy scores. He was out there battling, man, and he looked tremendous. And I think that true chemistry between him and Brady is 100% there. We saw it kind of more develop towards the end of the year last year, kind of capping it off in the Super Bowl where he had 2 scores. But man, if you went out and drafted Gronk, do you feel good right now? What a game and what a performance he had last night. And with that being said, there is one other tight end from last night's performance that I want to bring up, and that is Dalton Schultz, right? He is looking like the true tight end one for the Dallas Cowboys. And I talked a lot about Blake Jarwin on this channel in August, right? And I'm looking like I am completely wrong on that, right? It looks like Dalton Schultz is the guy in that offense. I mean, there was a drive where he was targeted like 3 plays in a row. He looked very good from a PPR and half PPR standpoint, right? In my 20-man league, I have already put in a waiver for him as I am super thin at the tight end position, right? And this is a guy to have on your waiver wire, alert, right? You need to have him. If you're weak at the tight end position, that is, and you play it, especially in full PPR, right? At least have him on your watch list or be considering him, because the way we saw that Dallas Cowboys offense roll out last night, I think he's going to play a very big role in that offense overall. And man, it looks like I'm wrong. I was wrong about Blake Jarwin, right? But nonetheless, I think we could still see some Blake Jarwin out there, but it looks like Dalton Schultz is the guy in that offense, man. So if you missed it last night, Steven and I did draft this 10-man league, and this roster is for the catch fam, right? So let us know what you guys think of this roster that we put together for our kind of collaborative league with our subscribers. And man, let us know if there's anyone you think we should be targeting out there on the waiver wire. And go ahead and check out that video from last night, our 100 subscriber NFL kickoff special. Man, it was a true blast, and we put together kind of this interactive team for you guys. So make sure you guys are keeping up with that and dropping us comments about that as well. And one last thing we need to talk about, right? Another Ravens running back added to the Ravens depth chart. And that would be, of course, that of Latavius Murray. So I'm already getting questions about this in the comments, right? Should I add Latavius Murray? It even says here, right, 4-minute read. Edwards injury, Murray, a must add. I actually think you should add Latavius Murray before adding Le'Veon Bell or Devonta Freeman, who has also been signed to their practice squad, right? I think Latavius Murray has the most likelihood to see touches before anyone else, right? Le'Veon Bell was signed to their practice squad and is now looking likely to gear up for them with this injury to Gus Edwards, right? I think the pecking order, in my humble opinion, will go Tyson Williams, then Latavius Murray. We'll see a lot of those two guys, and then we'll see Le'Veon Bell possibly implemented here and there as well, maybe in like some third down back, type of position, right? And that's really just due to Gus Edwards being injured. I think that Devonta Freeman will more likely be a veteran depth move, right? And we'll probably see him more, maybe even just as a practice squad player. But who knows at this point? I'm doing an update on the Ravens backfield like every other day or every day, it seems like. So I don't know if I would call him a must add. If you feel pretty good about the depth at the running back position on your roster, well, then maybe we should hold off and see how this plays out, because this is getting crazier and crazier to keep up with every day. But even if you are relatively confident in your roster, I mean, it never hurts to go out and try and get another lead back, especially on an offense like the Ravens. So I think Latavius Murray is a pretty good waiver wire pickup, and I think in at least one of my leagues, he's already been added. So nonetheless, man, what a phenomenal week 1 kickoff. What a phenomenal 2021 kickoff we had last night. This football season is going to be a ton of fun. The receivers on both of these squads last night, I guess outside of Mike Evans, looked phenomenal. The running backs a little bit scary, but not too scary, right? We talked about it. This game script really didn't give either team the need to implement these guys, right? And I think Leonard Fournette, from a PPR standpoint, might be the back to have in that Tampa Bay offense, right? These quarterbacks both look great. These tight ends are looking solid, man. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic football year, man. Go check out our draft we did for you guys last night. Let me know what you guys think about me going out and getting Dalton Schultz in my 20-man league. And of course, congratulate Steven, right? I mean, he did put up some good points against me last night. He's really feeling himself. And as always, man, go ahead and smash the like button. We are on the road to 200 subscribers here at the Catch. Got plenty more of content leading up to Sunday, where we will also be having some fun on this channel. So stay tuned, guys. Shout out to the Catch fam. As always, I thank you all for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch.